Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a vibrant, kind of chaotic, and honestly, incredibly eye-opening trip into the hidden economics of Pakistan's wholesale fruit market, locally known as the Mandi. We all buy fruit, but very few of us actually understand the complex web of exporters, middlemen, and hidden costs that dictate exactly what ends up in our fruit bowl, and more importantly, how much we pay for it. So let's decode the Mandi. Now, here's a paradox that frustrates local consumers every single summer. Why are Pakistan's earliest, most premium mangoes packed up and shipped completely out of the country before you can even find them at your local street vendor? I mean, they arrive fresh from Sindh, and boom, they're just gone. So, where are they going and why?
Section 1. The Mango Export Mystery. The Journey from Sindh to Iran.
Okay, let's dive right into this. It's actually a highly organized four-step pipeline. First step, the mangoes, specifically those prized Sindri and Saroli varieties, are harvested right in the Sindh province. But the second they hit the Karachi Mandi, they aren't sent to local shops. No way. Instead, step 2, they are immediately treated with calcium carbide. This kickstarts the ripening process. Then, step 3 is all about rapid branding. Stickers are slapped on and the fruit is packed into these sturdy wooden crates. Finally, step 4. They're loaded onto trucks and exported directly to places like Iran or border regions like Turbet and Panjgur. Basically, local demand gets completely sidelined because the sheer volume and the foreign currency of the export market completely dictates the flow. Now, what's really fascinating here is this highly specific number, 85 Pakistani rupees. That is the exact per-box operational cost to get these mangoes ready for their international journey. It breaks down to about 15 to 20 rupees just for applying that carbide, plus the cost of the stickers, the wooden crate, and of course the labor. It might seem like a tiny margin, right? But when you're shipping thousands of boxes a day across international borders, this 85 rupee premium per box fuels an entire microeconomy right there within the Mandi itself. Section 2. Wholesale versus retail pricing. The real cost of the street vendor fruit cart. So let's look at the stark mathematical contrast here because it brilliantly illustrates the massive premium you pay just for convenience. On the retail side, your neighborhood street vendor is probably charging you around 400 rupees for just one single kilogram of mangoes. But if you step foot inside the Mandi, a bulk 10-kilogram box, locally known as a pedi, costs between 1,700 and 1,800 rupees. If you do the math, that means the Mandi price is essentially 170 to 180 rupees per kilo. You're literally paying more than double just to buy it down the street from your house. But hey, before we completely blame the street vendor for price gouging, you have to consider this absolutely crucial number: 2 kilograms. You see, when a street vendor buys that 10-kilo box from the wholesale market, the fruit is completely raw. Over the next 4 days, as that calcium carbide does its thing and the fruit ripens in the intense summer heat, the mangoes actually lose about 2 kilos of pure water weight. So the vendor bought 10 kilos, but can actually only sell 8 kilos. That shrinkage is a massive factor directly baked into the high retail markup you end up paying. To really understand your fruit bowl, we have to look at the entire local supply chain. Right at the top is the RT. This is the primary wholesaler who's moving pure bulk at base Mandi prices. Next in line comes the mashakor, or the middleman. They buy in bulk from the RT specifically to distribute to smaller sellers, and right there they tack on roughly a 1,200 rupee markup per large batch. Finally, at the very bottom is your street vendor, who buys from the mashakor, absorbs that water weight shrinkage we just talked about, and then sells to you in individual kilos at the absolute highest retail price. Basically, every single hand that touches the fruit adds a little tax to your wallet. Section 3, Summer Fruit Highlights, a breakdown of Mandi savings. Now, if you do decide to buy in bulk, the savings are just staggering. I mean, you can grab 6.5 kilos of fresh peaches for just 900 rupees, boxes of Iranian apples for 700, and look at the loquat, 700 rupees for a kilo and a half, whereas retail markets will sell you that exact same amount for 1,200 rupees. You can even find imported large cherries for 550 rupees and boxes of sweet Thailand tamarind for just 400. The purchasing power you unlock inside the Mandi is honestly on a whole other level. But navigating the Mandi isn't just about hunting for the lowest price, it's about really knowing quality. Let's take falsafer example, which is a super popular tart summer berry. You'll see vendors selling waterlogged falsa for 200 rupees a glass, and right next to them, dry falsa for 250.
Now, it might be tempting to save those 50 rupees, but those waterlogged berries are bloated and honestly pretty flavorless. The dry falsa, which looks like these clean little pearls, yields a way richer juice and has a much longer shelf life. So paying slightly more here is, without a doubt, the far better deal.
We actually see the exact same principle with chiku, also known as sabadilla. The long chiku sells for 120 rupees a kilo, while the round chiku, which is shaped almost perfectly like a little egg, sells for 180 rupees. Why the difference? Well, the round variant has a vastly superior texture. It's incredibly creamy, almost like a natural pudding, with way fewer of those stringy fibers you get in the cheaper, longer version. In the Mandi, you're paying for the texture just as much as the taste.
Section 4. The rare flower coconut, a hidden gem of the fruit market.
So I have to ask you this, and it's actually a question that has a lot of people wandering the market scratching their heads. What exactly is a flower coconut? Well, here is the fascinating story behind this Sri Lankan import. A flower coconut is this really rare variant that you can actually spot from the outside by a distinct, sprouted root poking right through the shell. But the real magic happens on the inside. Unlike a regular coconut, it contains almost minimal water. Why? Because an actual internal flower or a spongy cotyledon has grown inside, completely absorbing all the coconut water and transforming it into this sweet, spongy delicacy. Culturally, it's pretty legendary in the local market, and it's highly prized for promoting fertility, strengthening hair, and just boosting general women's health. Because of this extreme rarity and all those perceived health benefits, the flower coconut commands a pretty steep premium price of 500 Pakistani rupees. Just to put that into perspective for you, a standard, high-quality coconut in the exact same market goes for about 300 to 350 rupees. You're paying that premium precisely because that internal flower has soaked up all the water, creating a completely unique nutritional profile.
Section 5. Is the market worth it? Doing the petrol math.
So what does this all mean for us? The economic reality is actually quite simple. If you're just looking to buy 1 or 2 kilos of fruit for casual snacking, it is absolutely not worth your time, your energy, or the petrol required to drive all the way out to the Mandi. You're going to spend way more in fuel than you save on apples. However, if you are buying 8 to 10 kilos or more, maybe for a large family, a big event, or even meal prepping, those massive savings unlock immediately. The wholesale market is an investment, and it is designed purely for bulk buyers.
I actually love this quote directly from one of the arty wholesalers in the market. He put it perfectly, saying, if someone needs 800 to 1,000 rupees worth of fruit at least, then coming here is beneficial. And there you have it. That is the exact mathematical threshold. The Mandi requires a really strategic approach to your grocery shopping. You gotta go in with a plan, a set budget, and honestly a lot of trunk space. Which leaves us with one final, kind of provocative question for you to ponder. Will your next grocery run be at the Mandi? Now that you fully understand the hidden economics, all those supply chain markups, and the massive bulk savings just waiting to be claimed, are you willing to trade the easy convenience of the corner street vendor for the bountiful, chaotic, and highly profitable world of the wholesale market? Let that thought simmer the next time you bite into a fresh summer peach. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.